Hi people. Today we're going to cover modesty, sneas or sniut in Hebrew. Perhaps this would be a topic better explained by a woman, but because none have volunteered, I'll take a shot at it. In Micah, it states, "It has been told you, O man, what is good and what God requires of you, and what's that? Only that you do justice, love kindness, and walk modestly with your God." Chazal tell us that the sanctity of a home, the foundation of Jewish life, is maintained primarily through the laws of modesty. There are several different areas of Jewish modesty. However, today I'll cover women's clothing. Many who've seen religious girls have thought about it. Why on earth would anyone dress like that, right? If you have a great body, why not show it off, right? Well, Judaism doesn't think so. First, you have to understand, like most mitzvahs, sniut is a means to a greater end and not an ends unto itself. Because honestly, what's the point? God sees you naked, right? And for that very reason, what's the point of any of the commandments if they don't ultimately affect this planet for the good? So the act of dressing modestly is not the obstacle, but rather the difficult part is understanding why it's important. Religious women try to be more cautious than other women on the effect their appearance may have on others around them. It is mainly because of this that she is able to reap a larger reward in this world and the next, let's say, than a man who has less to tame in this area. How so? Well, women in general have a tendency to follow the latest styles. Quite often, these styles have a harmful influence on sniut. You see, by not keeping sniut, a woman not only violates the Torah herself, but causes others who see her to violate it also. How so? Because Jewish law not only prohibits a woman from dressing in modesty, but also forbids men to look at her while she's doing so. Also, we live in a world that makes it very difficult to observe or comprehend the laws of sniut. Our culture and media are filled with examples of dress and behavior that is the exact opposite of sniut. Now, some groups, let's say like Christians, have some sense of what's modest and immodest, but after time these views become subjective and begin to pose big problems in their community. This is not how Judaism approaches modesty. Sniut starts with an absolute standard. Then, and only then, does any sort of relativity or subjective standards come into play. The laws of sniut are very detailed, and even very observant Jews often need to brush up on the particulars. However, here are some basic guidelines from Jewish law. First, one's appearance must appear refined and respectable. Unrefined, dirty, or otherwise unfit clothing is considered not sniut, not modest. Next, a woman's knees must be covered, actually 4 inches below the knee. The elbow and the collarbone below and including the neck must also remain covered. One also should make sure that one's garment does not reveal these when one sits or raises one's arms. Again, these laws pertain to women right now. A woman may not wear clothes that have been manufactured specifically for men, even if she wears them with clothes that are clearly exclusively made for women. Now, next to me you see the sources where these halakhas stem from. So I'll try to pace myself properly so like you're able to write them down or read them properly, and if you like you can pause the video to get a better look. So these are the major rules. There's certainly room and opinions that support stricter guidelines, but here I've laid down the bare minimum. The purpose of this video is to encourage women, Jewish and not Jewish, to reach for a higher standard of dress, not just for the world's sake, but also for theirs, because I don't have to tell you that the way you dress also affects the kind of man you will meet, because the good men of this world know that modest is the hottest. That wasn't too modest. One example brought down by Chazal teach that one of the angels who visited Abraham asked him, "Where's your wife Sarah?" He responded, "Behold, she is in the tent." Our sages teach that the angel's question was intended to call Abraham's attention to Sarah's modesty and thereby to arouse his attraction toward her. Nice, huh? So, what are you waiting for? Go to your closest frum shop and get yourself some modest clothing. Before we end, let me illustrate with some standards again. Now these are a bit more stringent, but these outfits definitely qualify as sniut. You could even be less stringent because the skirt really just has to reach to about here and the sleeves to about here. Beseder? Now, this vision is bigger than just Jews dressing modestly, but the laws of sniut should be taught to all women. We Jews should not be satisfied till we see our women holding conferences for Jewish and non-Jewish women in their community, because modesty affects us all. If these concepts make sense to you and you happen not to be Jewish, I welcome and encourage you to consider Judaism. For more information on Judaism, please visit our website, bejewish.org. There you will find audio and video that will help you on your journey. Now, you can do it. You can choose to be modest, and you don't even have to be Jewish to do so. Be modest, follow truth, and be Jewish. Thank you.